Hi everyone, in this video we are going to review all the things you need to know for how to be a good mapper, from the ethics of online mapping to avoiding common mapping errors. At the end of this video, you will be equipped with all the knowledge on how to contribute high quality edits to OSM. So let's get started. Because OSM is an online map that anyone, anywhere can contribute to, it's important that we practice good digital citizenship and take pride in our contributions. All of your edits in OSM contain a history, and your account and the Team Activist organization will be attached to those edits. So it's crucial that we create a strong digital footprint. We are trying to create the best map of the world, and there are some guidelines that we need to follow. First, it is vitally important that we do not copy over geospatial information from other sources like Google Maps. OSM is an open source platform, meaning anyone anywhere can edit or use the data, but other platforms like Google are privately held enterprises and have copyright laws that prohibit anyone from using their data to create a new map. By implementing the best practices we lay out in the rest of this video, you will be on your way to creating a great and strong digital footprint. When mapping in OSM, you will rarely encounter a blank slate, so you will often have to navigate around the work of other mappers. Sometimes this work will be of good quality, and other times it won't. Through experience and building up your mapping confidence, you will become more comfortable with engaging with existing map contributions. But here are a few general guidelines to keep in mind as you map. In general, you should avoid deleting other people's mapping if it just needs improvement. You can delete your own mistakes, but you should try to just edit other people's mapped objects if they are incorrect. Everything you map in OSM has a history attached to it. So by flat out deleting a mapped object, you're deleting all of the history of who mapped that and when. So you should always aim to just edit what is already there because it preserves the history of the items in the OSM database and is respectful of fellow mappers. If you really feel that something should be deleted, consider asking the original mapper. Now let's review some of the most common mapping errors for beginner mappers. One of the most common errors with new mappers is not squaring your buildings. So let's take a look at some common errors and what we do about them. Let's do a quick recap of how we map buildings. So the first thing you want to do is zoom in really close to the top left of your square. I personally like to start in a corner and work my way across the square in rows. And always make sure not to map outside of the pink bounding box. When you find a square building, select the area tool or number 3 on your keyboard and trace over the shape of the building, clicking once on each corner to create a node there. Double-click on the last point to finish. The shape will flash red. The next step is to make sure that our building has right angles. To make your building a perfect square, click on the center of the building and hit the Q on your keyboard to make the corners of the building 90 degrees. Or you can right-click on the center of the building and hit the square icon. The final step is to make sure that we properly tag the building. So on the left-hand side, a panel should open that allows you to tag your features. So search for your feature type, in this case it's a building, and select the first tab that opens. Unless you have local knowledge of the area, we will always be tagging buildings solely as buildings. Even if you think it may be a house, you can't know with 100% certainty that it is. Now let's do a quick refresher of some do's and don'ts for mapping buildings. Do trace each individual building in the tile. Don't draw one single trace over many buildings. Do trace the shape of the building exactly as you see it. Try to avoid drawing the shadow of a building, or if a tree is covering part of the building, make your best guess at where the building is under the tree. Don't trace every building as a perfect rectangle if that is not its shape. On the left-hand side, you could see that some of the buildings have little bits that jut out, like a porch or there's an indentation. Make sure you accurately portray those details when tracing a building. Another common error that we see a lot is that mappers trace buildings and roads so that they're overlapping. But in real life, I have never seen a building overlap a road, so let's go ahead and fix that. So as you can see, this road and building are crossing and it gives us an issue. So let's go ahead and move the building so we can get a clear image of what's happening underneath. As you can see when we look underneath, this building was not traced over the actual footprint of the building. So let's readjust those nodes, re-square the building, and that is how you can fix that. Another common error is when we see nodes from two buildings snap together or from a road and a building snap together. So let's take a closer look at what that looks like and how we can fix it. So oftentimes this error happens when you're mapping two buildings that are close together and you accidentally click a node that shares a line with another building. So as you can see here, if I try to move this building at the bottom, it drags the upper building as well, meaning that they share a node. And if I move this top building, you can see that it also shares a node with this road. So we need to disconnect both of these nodes to ensure that these buildings are separate. So you'll want to right click on the shared node and click disconnect, or you can hit the D on your keyboard. Now let's disconnect this node at the bottom by right clicking and hitting disconnect. And now let's double check that they are all separate. Perfect. And now let's re-square those building edges and let's move that road up. As you gain more experience mapping in ID Editor, you will realize that there are tons of shortcuts that you can use to make your mapping more efficient. The first one that I like to use is the 3 shortcut on my keyboard. This automatically moves the cursor into the position to draw a building. The second keyboard shortcut that I like to use is the square shortcut, which is the Q key on your keyboard. So if you have a building selected and click Q, it will automatically square the building. The same thing for moving and rotating. To find other shortcuts for ID Editor, just hover over a button and oftentimes we'll have a little subtext that says shortcut and then the key on your keyboard that correlates to that action. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful and I will see you in the next one.